Just take a look at this sneaky move. This is Caleb Plant, an undefeated super middleweight champion who not only knew how to fight, but also mastered the art of getting under his opponent's skin. He was known for his cockiness, bold antics, and dirty tactics. At press conferences, he didn't just talk, he provoked. But at some point, it seemed like he started believing in his own invincibility, and that turned out to be his fatal mistake. Unfortunately for him, a true nightmare of professional boxing had entered his division, Saul Canelo Alvarez, a man who doesn't need loud words, he speaks with his fists. At the pre-fight press conference, the tension was already running high. It seemed like things couldn't escalate further until one of the fighters decided to throw fuel on the fire. Everyone instantly understood. Alvarez had entered fight mode long before the opening bell. Plant seemed to think his mind games had worked. He believed he had gotten into Canelo's head and was already winning the battle before stepping into the ring. But he forgot who he was dealing with. Standing in front of him wasn't just a champion, it was the pound-for-pound king, a man who had made a career out of punishing those who mistook arrogance for confidence. Caleb's undefeated status had clearly gone to his head. He came into the fight thinking this was his moment of glory. But Saul Alvarez, ever the composed tactician, wasn't fazed. He entered the ring calm and collected, fully aware that the early rounds weren't going in his favor. The scorecards showed he was trailing, but Canelo didn't panic. He waited, patiently, waiting for the moment when Plant's defense would crack, when overconfidence would turn into vulnerability. Closer to the middle, the forces were equal. Caleb threw an uppercut, and Canelo pinned him in the corner. And after that, the corners became a permanent place for Caleb to defend himself, as he was pinned down again and again by combinations. Every attempt by Plant to break Alvarez was immediately accompanied by a surge of emotion from Canelo, as if he was trying to bring the American down to earth with any attempt to elevate himself. At some point, it became like a cautionary tale, a one-sided beating. But even despite the legend's confidence, the American didn't just not give up, he gave a worthy rebuff. At that moment, it was not obvious who would win, and even now, Canelo landed such powerful punches right to the temple, and at one point even received a reprimand from the referee for making an illegal strike. He apparently accidentally hit the groin area and realized it himself right away, and apologized to his opponent. And then something began that was impossible to watch without slow-mo, a wild fight, but without a single powerful hit. Were they lucky? At that moment, both were tired, but one was out of focus, and the other went into berserker mode, fight or die. Plant started making fun of Canelo. By the way, it was in vain, because Alvarez was not in a state to tolerate ridicule. He moved forward. Plant was literally getting burned by Canelo's punches, but Alvarez needed to finish the fight. That moment came in the 11th round. Alvarez started to close in. With a series of short, precise combinations, he dropped Plant to the canvas. The arena erupted. Caleb struggled to his feet, signaling he could go on. But Canelo had no intention of giving him a second chance. Another lightning-fast assault, and Plant went down again. This time, it was over.
Do you remember this fighter? He hit his opponent in the groin with such force that the guy started vomiting right in the cage. Instead of apologizing for such dirty behavior, he decided to mock him. But karma caught up with him 2 months later when he faced Munis Ramukhudoyev. Being a freestyle wrestling athlete, Munis immediately took the cocky, palm-headed guy to the ground, where he began to beat all the arrogance out of him. He absorbed more than 30 strikes, but the referee didn't even think about stopping the fight. In the end, the fight went the distance. However, the cocky Malik didn't know how to lose, and he charged at his opponent twice, and they agreed to have a second MMA fight with limited ground time. The second fight started actively, but this time, the Malik tried to take his opponent to the ground, but nothing worked, and he was beaten down with a barrage of strikes, losing for the second time.